But due to the form factor, we don't have a numpad and we do miss a little bit of an overall configuration with different kind of normal keyboards. But of course, that's one of the concessions we're going to be needing to have if you have like a super small form factor. But the overall touchpad is very nice. I must say it was very responsive, but also utilize a micro switch underneath mouse. And I think the overall utilization of this is quite cool. And I like it. The bottom row has the F keys, but also utilizes also the other, let's say, functions like brightness and everything else. But due of the super slim format, we're going to be having no normal USB-A connections. So let's turn this thing on over here because we're also having the on and off switch. And next up we're going to be having two USB-C ports. So it's going to be a convenient thing if you're going to be having yourself an adapter. At the left side we're going to be having the outtake. You can actually see some copper over there for the cooling, and we do have utilizing a headphone jack. So for the people who love to use headphones, this is going to be a super convenient thing. But let's try to get this freaking power supply out of this box. There we go. There we have it. So I was really wondering like what kind of voltage we're running now. So we're going to be actually just having a 12 volt 3 amp power supply, nothing really fancy, and this has an USB-C connection. Okay, that's it. But let's do a little bit of a nerdy time. So we're going to be running the Intel Core, so the Elder Lake that is called the code name. So this thing only has a TDP of 6 watts, so it's kind of insane. However, we're running actually the N150. So we have been trying the 100 a lot of different, let's say, manufacturer mini PC and laptops. But I'm really curious how far we can push it when it comes to the N150. Maybe we do have like enough juice to get a little bit better performance overall with different, let's say, devices or pieces of software. So let's trash the CPU. Let's see how hot this thing is getting. I did plug it into the wall socket to see what's going on. Cooling wise, it's going to be interesting because these things can become quite hot sometimes. Particularly when it comes to the super small model. You can actually see over here. This thing is hitting 63 Celsius and it's not getting any hotter. So in overall, I must say that it's not bad at all. A game that never bores me is of course the Fruit Ninja. So I must say, let's see how responsive this thing is. We're going to just easily swiping over the screen, not going to be putting too much force on it. And I must say that I'm quite surprised how well this actually works. You can see that, ooh, we need to put a little bit of force on it. There we go. But so far it's quite responsive when it comes to the overall, let's say, fun factor. But when it comes to the touchscreen, you do need to put a little bit of force on it actually to get something going on. But when it comes to the colors and just the resolution of the display, this looks absolutely amazing. And I think that's one of the cool features you see with these tiny tablets, or at least laptop tablet thingies. Particularly when I'm going to be playing games that are colorful and really detailed. I must say this is really important. I'm going to have a good display, but also the sharpness is important. With the simple reason, if you don't have this, it's going to be very, let's say, difficult and very tiring for your eyes to actually look at it, because the screen is quite tiny. No, I don't want to delete the freaking slot, I want to play the game. The quality of the display is always quite difficult, in my opinion, to capture, but this gives you a great idea. And again, this is another, let's say, game that has amazing music. And I can tell you, it doesn't really disappoint here. Another thing is like how sensitive, but how accurate actually it is. Because everything is so freaking tiny now. So you need to get like a very good, let's say, overall touch. It is actually multi-touch of course, but the thing is I just wanted to see how it actually plays. I've been putting it on the fantastic graphics. So I do notice with the N150 we do have like quite a long loading times. But so far I don't notice any problems whatsoever. And I've been testing all kinds of different mini devices, or at least like tablets and let's say laptop. I must say that where some of the tablets I've reviewed had actually like 2K displays, that was even better when it comes to, let's say, playing games, and everything was even more detailed. But this doesn't really disappoint whatsoever. But how about if you're going to be adding a really difficult game to play that is absolutely GPU hungry? The onboard is not good enough, so we're going to be putting in a mix of high graphics, and the more demanding like particles have been set to low. You can actually see now on the full resolution with 920 with 1280 that we're going to be having a tiny, I think it's like not windowed mode, but we're going to be having this very interesting and also annoying white line. So we're going to be fixing that part. But also, let's get into the settings. Let's go to the graphics part and let's set this all to low. Or at least if we can even put it on low. That is the lowest setting. Everything to low. So in this case, let's put this on borderless. Where we can play a lot of simple two-dimensional indie games, this is going to be absolutely challenging. I did put it on the right resolution so we don't have the black bars at this point. So we can lower to the normal resolution, or at least like the 1080p with black bars, and maybe get a little bit better performance, but I think it's going to be having like a couple of frames. Just wanted to see how far we can push it when it comes to this. Everything has been set to low, ready in like a 20 plus freaking settings, but you need to think about it, the N150, it's still a low power chip. It's absolutely crazy to see how far we can push this. And also try this, let's say on higher end, let's say AMD Ryzen's with a 780M onboard chip that is almost close getting to the, I think it's called the GTX 6050 of NVIDIA, and that is finally getting some overall good performance on high, and of course low it can run full speed. But think about it, this is just like a game that actually needed a dedicated GPU, and we're just playing with an onboard. It's absolutely insane. But what we can do, like it's hitting 18 frames per second, so that's not going to be playable. So let's go all the way to 1280. Let's see what's going on with this. So let's go do something crazy. Let's say 1280 by 600. It's not going to be looking great, but max FPS 60, VSync off, motion blur off. Doesn't really accept anything because I don't want to get into the lower graphics with this tablet or laptop. Yeah, so no, that's not going to be working. So this is one of those cases, 80 frames per second, that's what we're getting. But let's remove the cover and let's see what we're going to be finding underneath. So all of the screws have been removed over here, and this is what we're going to be finding underneath. So when it comes to the speakers, already mentioned throughout the video that it sounds absolutely amazing having speakers over here at the side. Here we're having the rechargeable lithium battery. So overall I say the Ryzen, a brand I've never heard of, is the M2 that they're using, so you can actually upgrade that. There's no way of adding another one. So the overall construction of the heatsink over here, having the heatsink going all the way to the N150. So this is what we're going to be finding actually inside of the tiny laptop. So we can upgrade only actually the M2 memory. There's nothing of, so far I can see that you can swap out the RAM modules. So another thing I wanted to showcase is that the bottom plate is made out of very nice thin metal. So this is absolutely a very nice overall quality. But let's put this thing back together. Oh crap. But in the end, I hope you have a better idea what you're going to be getting when it comes to this particular product. Thank you all for watching. Give this video a like if you liked it, and it would be great to see you in the next video.